What's up, guys? It's Bandit, and today I'm going to be talking about my worst childhood experience. So, this was like last year, or 2 years ago. I was in 8th grade, my last year playing youth football. I was super excited, started working out, getting huge, and like a month into it, we had our first game. I was so excited. It was up north, so we had to travel, and that whole day was just bad for me because, like, first I wrote my mouthpiece, and I was freaking out. I was scared I was going to play, and then my coach told me I wasn't going to start before the game, and I was flipping out, like, what? I'm like this dude just excited to play, and then he's like, no, you're not starting. And then later he told me, oh, you have to start because someone else, like, didn't show up. And so they kicked off to us. We got the ball right away. And we scored on the first possession, and then we were on defense. It was like the very first play, okay? And like, let me just set the scene. We're in the first quarter, okay? We score, now they have the ball. Very first play, it was a sweep to the left side. Alright, I went for the tackle, and then, like, not knowing that, like, right behind me was my coach's son. And so I'm wrapped up on the guy. He hits my elbow into the guy's face mask, so it's in between their two helmets. And, like, I didn't know what happened. I just remember, like, getting up, and everyone's like, Will, your elbow! And I was like, oh my God! Like, I couldn't believe it. I was, like, screaming, and then I run off. I'm like, oh my God! And my coach is like, are you okay? And I looked, I'm like, I don't know! And then, so I go, one of our assistant coaches, he was, like, a doctor, so that was pretty cool. And I go over, and I look at my arm, and, like, it's all fucked up, guys. Like, my elbow, like, I have a weird elbow structure. It, like, kind of comes out a little bit, and it was, like, completely gone. It was on my shoulder, like, my upper shoulder. Like, he pushed it that far up, so I was flipping out. And, our assistant coach was like, he was like, you have a constitution number, like, he said some crazy-ass word with a C. I don't even know what the hell he said. It was, like, 30 letters long, okay? He was like, you have this, and I was like, oh my God, what does that even mean? And, like, without telling me, he moves my elbow all the way back to, like, where my elbow should be, and I'm sitting there screaming. He calls my mom down, and she was like, oh my God, my baby! My mom, she's white, but, I just lied to you. She's Mexican, actually. But, like, she overreacts like an old black lady. I don't mean to sound racist, but, like, she does. And my dad was mad at me, actually, because we were, like, in the car, and my grandpa was talking to me. He started yelling at me, and I was like, you know what, just shut up. My dad flipped on me. He hates when I talk back to people. So he like, hated me. He was, like, happy that I broke my elbow, and so, it's the first quarter. We're up 7-0. I was, all sad because I broke my arm the, like, very first quarter, very first game. And, so we're going to the hospital. And, I was sitting in the car for, like, an hour, like, on the way home, or to the hospital. And, like, my mom's just, like, she's telling me, all, like, these, old memories of me as a baby. Like, she was talking to me like I was going to die. Like, I was so scared. Like, she was just like, oh, you're gonna be okay, I remember you as a baby, and I used to carry you, and, like, you're just so strong, you can get through this. And I was like, what? I just broke my arm. Like, what are you talking about? So we get to the hospital, and they tell me, yeah, we can't start surgery yet. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, it hurt so bad. You guys have no idea. Like, my whole arm was just out of place. It just hurt. Yeah, I've never broken a body in my, like, part of my body in my life, so it was just crazy. And so, like, okay, and this is, like, off topic, but the nurse, so hot. Like, she was to die for. Anyway, we're sitting in there. They're like, yeah, we can't start surgery. We need to wait a couple hours so, like, all my, like, fluids or something could, like, go down or whatever. And so I'm waiting. Like, 5 hours later at night,
for contact.
They're like, okay, we can start, and I was like, okay, cool. And, but before, they had to, like, tear off my shoulder pads, and, like, that killed, dude. Like, it felt like putting, like, a needle inside of your, like, penis, Like, just, like, pretend like someone did that to you. That's what it felt like. Like, it hurt so bad all over. So, they start surgery. You know, I obviously wasn't awake. I get up, like, I wake up, and, like, my dad's still mad at me. He's, like, yelling at me in, like, the room. He was like, don't think 'cause this happened, like, you're off the hook. And I was like, oh, shit, dude, this is miserable. You know, not only did I break my arm, my dad hates me. You know, this is just the worst time. You know, I love football. I don't get to play the rest of the year. It was horrible. I was having the worst day of my life. So, and then every time I go to eat, like, after that, like, after the surgery, like, I just throw up. Like, you know, they gave me chicken noodle soup. I threw up all over myself. Some dude gave me a hamburger, because I was, like, in a room with, like, an old man, because, like, they had no other rooms. So he was like, hey, son, you want my hamburger? I was like, sure. You know, I threw up, like, all over his tray. You know, he was like, oh, it's okay. And I was like, you know what, dude? I'm just having the worst day of my life. And then, so we go home. I'm like, you know, I'm like, excited. You know, I'm out of the hospital. And I went to go lay down, and my dad's like, hey, you know what? We're going to have a serious talk. And he's like, you've been a little bitch lately, and you've just been talking back, and I don't like it. And I was like, okay. So it just keeps getting worse for me. And, so I took a couple days off of school, and then, you know, I go back, like, that Wednesday. And all my friends called me vagina. Like, they called me vagina because they said I was a pussy for, like, having to leave the game early. And so it was just a horrible month, dude. Like, it was sad. And then I ended up hurting it again. I was playing basketball with my friends, and one of my friends, he, like, hit me, and, like, it felt like I re-broke it, and it just hurt so bad. Like, and just to, like, hopefully I don't have, like, I don't sound like a pussy, because, like, this is the first, like, part of my body I've ever broken, and it was a horrible experience. So basically, the lesson I want you to get out of this is just don't play football, don't do anything with your life, just go to school, get straight A's, and just, like, sit in your room and do nothing all day. Because otherwise you're going to break your arm and ruin your life. And that's all I have to say, guys. Hope you have a good one, and this is from Brandon.